1. The villain moniker is cast. Catch a Dime family. Pull up a chair and dial in right now, because what we are witnessing is the birth of an absolute psychological mastermind on the hardwood.
That's a flagrant foul. It's a hard foul. You could say it's a play on the ball, but
If you thought the physical war between the Indiana Fever and the rest of the league was going to quiet down after the fines were handed out and the ejections cleared, you clearly do not know who Sophie Cunningham is. She didn't just accept the villain moniker after defending Caitlin and Lexi.
What really got this escalated, so that was called a flagrant. Those two were technicals. Charles got a technical. Yeah, I think no question this will get upgraded.
yeah, no question.
In that high-stakes third-quarter blowout, she completely branded it, put a price tag on it, and turned the entire WNBA landscape into her personal marketing layout. We are breaking down a moment that has completely altered how players handle on-court beef in the modern era. Yesterday, it was a bench-clearing, hard-hitting physical response. Today, it is the phone case response. Instead of issuing a generic cookie-cutter corporate apology to the front office or laying low while the media cycles debated her sportsmanship, Sophie leaned all the way into the smoke. She took the exact high-definition freeze frame of her standing over the competition, slapped it onto a custom phone case, and walked directly into the next arena tunnel, flashing it to every rolling camera lens in the building.
Missed 4 games with that groin injury.
To all the real members of the Catch a Dime crew who live for the tactical mind games, the locker room culture shifts, and the raw truth behind WNBA execution, if you want to stay 3 steps ahead of the mainstream media, hit that subscribe button and slam that notification bell right now. We track the competitive energy of this league daily. Hit that bell so you never miss an emergency film breakdown. Look at how this shifts the psychological parameters of the game. When you are a young squad like Indiana, navigating immense target gravity because you have number 22 on your roster, teams are going to try to rattle your mental structure. They want to make the floor ugly. But when your veteran wing player responds to league penalties by creating custom merchandise out of the conflict, she isn't just defending her teammates, she is actively declaring psychological war on every single defensive coordinator in the layout. Act 2, anatomy of the melee and monetizing the smoke. Let's look at the raw mechanics of how this unfolded, because this is an elite business play just as much as it is a locker room statement. Go back to the game tape from the previous matchup. The opposing defense was playing an incredibly dangerous physical line. Caitlin Clark gets poked directly in the eye by J.C. Sheldon. Then Marina Mabrey delivers a hard off-ball check. The officials are completely letting the safety layout slide. Cash register sound.
And at the end of the day, I think they're waiting for us players to crack. I'm telling you, we are unified as it gets right now.
That is the exact moment Sophie Cunningham decides that the free hits on Indiana's backcourt are officially closed for business. On the very next transition sequence, she tracks down the drive and delivers an incredibly heavy, unyielding, flagrant 2-blow that sends a shockwave through both benches. It was a direct retaliatory receipt. The whistle blows, the ejections happen, and the media instantly begins writing their articles about unnecessary escalation. But here is where the story completely splits from the traditional sports script. While the talking heads are arguing about whether the hit was too aggressive for a game where Indiana already held a comfortable point margin, Sophie was already executing a marketing masterstroke. By taking the high-res capture of that enforcement moment and turning it into a literal consumer asset, she did something genius. She completely neutralized the penalty. A league fine is meant to suppress physical defiance. But when your viral response creates a surge in brand engagement and drives your personal merch numbers through the ceiling, the fine isn't a punishment anymore. It's just the cost of marketing.
Vegas has done a nice job coming on the road, keeping Indiana Fever in check offensively. And Sophie Cunningham, you cannot lose her.
Act 3, locker room reaction and the player's verdict. This level of swagger is completely infectious, and it is reshaping the entire competitive chemistry inside that locker room. When your veteran players refuse to back down, the rookies and stars walk with an entirely different posture. Let's listen directly to the floor layout and hear exactly how the roster is backing up this unapologetic approach to the game. Look, at the end of the day, we know who has our backs out there on that floor. People can talk all they want from the outside about the politics of the game or how things look, but when you are between those lines, it's about protection and respect. Sophie brings an edge that this team absolutely needs. If she's standing on business, we are standing right there with her. The phone case? I think it's hilarious. It just shows we aren't letting anyone dictate how we play or how we respond to pressure. They are completely unbothered. If you are absolutely loving this unapologetic ride-or-die culture that Stephanie White's squad is building right now, make sure you have smashed that subscribe button. The opposing locker room is completely furious about this. Their head coach went on a massive rant, claiming that turning an on-court altercation into merchandise is disrespectful to the integrity of the game. But let's be completely honest here. Where was that energy when their defenders were throwing extra elbows at Caitlin's face? Where was that concern for integrity when they tried to physically bully Lexi Hull off the baseline? They didn't care about the rules until Indiana decided to start writing the checks and delivering the receipts. Act 4, the strategic ripple. Across the layout. Let's dive into the court analytics because this absolute defiance is paying massive dividends on the stat sheet.
And to Noe there, double overtime game and then a day game today. Cunningham again! Sophie Cunningham.
Basketball isn't played in a vacuum. It is a game dictated by confidence, rhythm, and space. When an opposing guard drives into the paint, knowing that Sophie Cunningham is fully prepared to put them on a phone case if they cross the line, that introduces a massive psychological tax. Look at the film tracking right here. Opposing teams are starting to hesitate on their weak side cuts. They are thinking twice about trying to set those extra hard blindside screens on Caitlin Clark. That split second of mental hesitation completely breaks down their half-court execution flow. It gives Lexi Hull the recovery time she needs to close out on the perimeter, and it allows Indiana's defensive structures to stay perfectly aligned without breaking containment. This phone case drop isn't just an elite marketing play. It is a permanent tactical warning notice displayed on the scoreboard. Sophie Cunningham just signaled to the entire league layout that any attempt to disrupt Indiana's star power with cheap, bully ball tactics is going to be met with immediate, high-definition retaliation that will be commercialized before the next morning's shoot-around. Here is the ultimate catch-a-dime verdict on the entire WNBA landscape right now. The old blueprint for beating the Indiana Fever is officially dead, buried, and turned into retail merchandise. You cannot break the spirit of a roster that responds to physical hostility with absolute unapologetic marketing brilliance. Sophie Cunningham just proved she is the ultimate security detail on the hardwood, and the rest of the league is completely scrambling to find an answer. The culture has officially shifted in Indiana. With Caitlin orchestrating the offense, Lexi anchoring the perimeter, and Sophie handling the enforcement layout with historic levels of swagger, this team is locked, loaded, and fully prepared for a deep postseason run. Now I need to hear from the sharpest sports minds in our Catch-A-Dime family right now. Is Sophie Cunningham's phone case response the ultimate legendary troll move of the 2026 season? Or do you think leaning into the villain persona is going to bring too much heat from the league office? Drop a Fever logo in the comment section down below if you are backing Sophie and the Fever enforcers all the way through this war. Smash that like button to fire up the algorithm and make sure you are completely subscribed with that notification bell activated so you never miss the realest basketball breakdowns on the internet. Catch a Dime 100. Out.